Endgame. Harry quaking in fear as Charles setting tell-all interview to destroy his spare. King Charles III may be following in Prince Harry's footsteps with a possible new endeavour. According to the Mirror, Charles is in talks to do an interview with the BBC in the wake of Harry's recent projects, his memoir, Spare, and Netflix docuseries with Meghan Markle, Harry, and Meghan. The proposed interview would coincide with Charles' upcoming coronation this May. Charles is reportedly considering an offer from BBC to engage in an on-camera interview. The proposed interview would revolve around his life and what he plans to do as the current King of the United Kingdom. It's possible that the BBC would task Jonathan Dimbleby, a long-time friend of the monarch's, to conduct the chat. A source said about the possible interview, plans are already up and running for coronation coverage at the BBC, including the profile on the monarch. It is not the done thing to avoid subjects in interviews, so it makes matters tricky. The insider added, even one small comment on Harry and Meghan would make worldwide news. It could also prompt a response from Harry, which would be unpredictable, like so much. Everything is very delicate. While nothing is set in stone just yet, Charles and his team are considering the interview. It would air alongside the BBC's coverage of his coronation, which will take place on May 6. Regardless of whether Charles does speak with the BBC for an on-camera piece, the outlet is still planning to produce a profile of the reigning monarch. With all of the talk about Charles' upcoming coronation, there has been speculation about whether Harry and Meghan will be in attendance for the occasion. Between Harry and Meghan and Spare, the couple has shared a series of claims about the royal family in recent months. Due to these accusations, the matter of their attendance at the coronation is up in the air. It was previously reported that the situation is even causing strife between Charles and his eldest son and heir, Prince William. The Duke of Cambridge reportedly does not want Harry to be in attendance at the coronation. On the other hand, Charles reportedly wants Harry there and is trying to look for a solution for this latest family quarrel. The family is split, and all the indications are that Harry is being advised to agree to nothing at this stage and play it long right up to the last minute, which is making negotiations with him very difficult, a source told the Daily Mail. Harry's camp made clear that the idea that he would just attend the coronation and behave himself but then be stripped of his titles was a total non-starter. While he might decide at some point to discard his titles of his own volition, he objects to the idea of being forcibly stripped of them. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's brand is founded on a never-ending multiverse of family misery, according to an expert. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have given around 40 hours of interviews since leaving the royal family, many of which have seen them launch a series of attacks against their estranged relatives, and the tactic isn't doing them any favours, writes Daniela Elza for news.com.au. One Washington Post writer worked out that the Sussexes have given and undertaken approximately 40 hours of interviews and media engagements since arriving in the US, she said. For the Duke and Duchess in 2023, their brand is not founded on them as humanitarian leaders but on the never-ending, multiverse of family misery that is Harry and Meghan versus the House of Windsor. I suppose it comes down to the fact that their charitable work does not feel like the defining force in terms of their public image. Maybe part of the reason why that is because of sheer necessity given his dear pa, King Charles, no longer picks up their bills and they have a reported $13.4 million mortgage. A first for H after a lifetime of living in grace and favor homes. Markle, Harry, and Meghan. The proposed interview would coincide with Charles' upcoming coronation this May. Charles is reportedly considering an offer from BBC to engage in an on-camera interview. The proposed interview would revolve around his life and what he plans to do as the current King of the United Kingdom. It's possible that the BBC would task Jonathan Dimbleby, a longtime friend of the monarch's, to conduct the chat. A source said about the possible interview,